Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Today is the second day of PHP in DDCDP23 and we will study HTML forms and its processing in PHP. We'll also study something called PHP super globals like $_post get and $_session and maybe some others also. And then we will create a database for a blog website in MySQL and we'll start creating a blog website in PHP. This will be mostly procedural PHP because we haven't yet studied object-oriented PHP, but you will get the idea of how we can add data into MySQL databases from PHP and read data from MySQL databases. So let's start. I have a file, or rather just I'll create another file, call it forms.php and save it. Okay, so this is just bare bone HTML and we will create a form in it. I will also access it in the browser. It's probably forms.php. Okay. Before this, let us discuss something. What actually are query parameters? So we already have studied some part of the query parameters. This is a page which is forms.php. So if I access it in the browser from my local machine, the request goes to the server forms.php and the output is sent to us. Okay, so if I in the body, if I output something like with the URL, let me just type this URL in the code editor because I'm not able to zoom the URL address bar, so maybe you are not able to see it. So for example, this is the URL of this page, forms.php. If I type name is equal to Khan and country is equal to Malaysia and age is equal to 40, for example. So I am accessing this forms.php from my browser, so the request goes to the server. But with forms.php I am saying pass this additional information as well. So you can see this is an extra bag with this request, that this page will have this extra information. These are known as query parameters. So name is equal to Khan and there can be more than one query parameter. Okay, so name, this one is name, it is Khan and it is separated by the ampersand sign. Then country is equal to Malaysia and age is equal to 3. So these actually are three separate variables which are being sent with the URL address. So this is the URL and these are the query parameters. We send this information for our purposes with a server request or a page. So for example, I am now on this page and I need to know what those values are which have been sent as query parameters to this page. So all these name is equal to this, these are saved in PHP super global called get. So if I go to inside the PHP tag, I will $get. This is the super global and it is accessible from anywhere in the PHP script. We had some scope lesson in the last lecture as well, but these variables $_get, these are actually are arrays accessible like this, and they are accessible from anywhere in the page, inside the functions, outside the function, whatever. So this is an array $_get, and in it we will have all the values. So for example, I print $, rather I will say print _r $get, okay. And we will print pre before this, or you can use echo also, and pre after it, so that it is formatted well. Okay. If I access this page now, forms.php, so if I access it again, right now it is empty. The array is empty. Why? Because there are no question mark and those variables with the. But if I access it now with those variables, so what do you expect? You can see now the array has name is equal to Khan, country is equal to Malaysia, and age is equal to 40. So any information which is being sent with a page is in the URL like this is accessible to PHP using this $get key. Okay. So for example, if I just now, as you know, this is now an array with these values, associative array with these values. If I want to print out country, so what I will do? Get square brackets and country. So print _get country. So now it's printing out just Malaysia. If I change the country to something else, for example Pakistan, so it's now Pakistan. So what does this mean? With this URL string, query string it is called, you can change any value, and PHP page this page forms.php can use it for its purposes. Got it? We will see why this is important. So this is what $get does. Okay. Let's comment it out. Now let us create, just this is not a PHP, this is just HTML now. So we will create a form. Form method is equal to get. Default is also get, okay. Other one is post. So we will explain what these two mean, but for now we will use it, keep it as get. If we don't use method is equal to get, so by default it is also get. Now let us create two text inputs. So input type is equal to text, name is equal to first underscore name, for example, like this. And we can have label also. So label open, label close. Is this okay, or it is EL? Label open, label close. Okay, and it's good practice to have weight inside the label, and the label is first name. We'll copy and paste this quickly, and it will be last name, and the name is, this is HTML attribute name, and this is all HTML. Okay, no PHP at the moment. So this is last name, and we will have a button. We can use button also, but let us use input for now. Input type is equal to submit, and value is equal to, for example, register for now. And let us preview it in the browser. So I have a form now, first name, last name, and register. Okay, this is just plain HTML. Okay, now but if I just register it now, so you can see there are two query parameters now with the form, with the URL forms.php. okay, and if I use some name, for example Azmat, last name is Shah, and if I click register now, so you can see first underscore name is equal to Azmat and last underscore name is equal to Shah. What does this mean? That once you submit a form, it goes to the server on that page, particular page. This is the form, and these are the name attributes. Okay, so these name attributes actually go as query strings if the method is get, if the form method is get. Form also has an action attribute. Action is equal to some page.php. What does this mean? This means once this form is submitted, so it will be dealt on this page, some page.php. But if we omit it, by default the page is forms.php, so the data will go to forms.php. But if we add, for example, if I submit this page now, it will give me an error. Why? Because there is no some page.php at the moment, and this is an error, I mean page not found. But if we use forms.php, so it will stay on the same page then. Forms.php, and if I just type something here and register, so you can see we are on the form.php, and it has the URL parameters or query parameters. And what those query parameters are? The form elements. This one is the first underscore name, and this one is the last underscore name. Got it? But even if we omit the action forms.php, automatically it will submit itself to this page, because by default. And even if we omit the method, because it get is also the default, so the form will be submitted to this page with those parameters, query parameters. Okay, now these were just text inputs. I want to have a select menu for Provence, for example. Okay, so what we can use for select? Yeah, so let us have a label first, Provence, or maybe city for now, and it will have select name is equal to city, and what it will have? Option. The first value will be please select, because it is going to be empty. This will be visible to the users, please select, and option value is equal to empty string for now. Other ones will be please select. So this one is Karachi, for example. This one is Lahore, and this one is Peshawar. Got it? And the value is, this one is empty, this is Karachi, this is Lahore, and this is Peshawar. Okay, if I come to the page and refresh it, so city is, please select, and it is Karachi, Lahore, or whatever. So if I submit it now and type last name is Shah and first name is Kamal, so if I submit it, we have changed the button order, but let us submit it first. So you can see first name is this, second last name is this, and city is equal to Lahore. Right now we are just submitting values from HTML. This is pure HTML. We are doing nothing with PHP at the moment, but PHP will be able to catch those values now. Okay. Okay, so if we need to select multiple from this select option, so there is a keyword multiple, tag multiple in HTML. So you just add multiple. So how will it change? Let us move the button first. Where is it? Okay, so if I refresh it, button is now at last, and you can see the select menu has become like this, and with your control or option you can select multiple values like these. Now they will be submitted to the page as these three selected values. Let us try how they are going there into. So city is equal to Karachi, city is equal to Lahore, city is equal to Peshawar. So these are being, are you able to see these in the URL?
Yes.
Let me copy it to the code so that you can see. So you can see the first underscore name is equal to, that was empty, last name was empty, but city is equal to Karachi, and city is equal to Lahore, and city is equal to Peshawar, because we have made it multiple and the name is city. So one of the approaches is to make city something like this. Sorry, city, because this is now multiple, so the name will be city and these two array brackets. Now let us check how it is submitting it. If I select Lahore and Peshawar and select submit, so you can see city is equal to Lahore and city is equal to this, but on the PHP side it will be dealt otherwise. So we can use both. Now let us discuss what checkboxes are. What are checkboxes? What is different between checkbox and radio button?
Radio button is only one selected area, and checkbox
Exactly.
multiple.
So let us create a label and we will call it a blood group, for example, and it will be a radio button. Input type is equal to radio and value is equal to a plus, where is plus, and name is equal to, say, blood group. P plus, is there any C plus in
No,
A, B positive? Okay, that's fine for now. Let's check how this is behaving. So this is blood group, this or this. Okay, so we can choose any of these, but there are no labels. So how we are going to do that?
We can write it inside put each input inside the line. Before the input table you can write it.
Like this, and move it to this, and this is A plus. Similarly, B plus, and we will move it to then we have AB plus, and we will move it to this one to that option. One thing, if we name it differently, so each individual one will be selectable. Let us try it, but after this. But if the name is the same, then only one will be selectable. Just make it this. Okay, so let us move this one inside the label as well. A plus, B plus, A, B plus, and O negative, right? Okay, one thing, if because each one only one of these is selectable like this. Usually, if, for example, you change the names to 1, 2, 3, and 4, for example. Now, any guesses what will be the changes?
I'll select first.
Because they are now individual ones.
Yes, sir, individual.
Okay. But we will keep it as single name so that only one is selectable. And if we submit it, then this will be in the query parameters. Let us try. For example, if I submit AB plus, this one, and select Lahore, and here I select this and register. So in the URL I will copy, and so that you can see it better. So you can see, okay, I was not able to refresh the page first. So for example, if I just check this one, so blood group is this. Like this. So blood group is B, and these are known as HTML attributes, HTML entities. So it converts B negative, AB negative or B negative into its counterpart. Okay, now the next step is to create checkboxes. So the difference between checkboxes and radio buttons is that for checkboxes, if you need to select more than one, then you use checkboxes, otherwise you use radio buttons. So let us quickly copy and paste this. And we will change it to, for example, interest. This one is cricket interest. We'll change all this to interest. this is movies, this one is programming, and this one is hockey.
The name should be
Yeah, they can be different, as well as we can give it the key, the array key. So this one is, the label is cricket, and this one is
type should be checkbox.
what?
The type should be checkbox, not values.
Yeah. Cricket, movies, and programming, and this one is okay. One thing, this should not be label. You can make it a div or anything like this, maybe a field set. If I refresh the page now, so this is movies, programming, cricket, movies, programming, and hockey. So let us make it div so that it falls on the second line. Any div can be added to the forms as well, but the input should be inside the labels for accessibility purposes as well. I just refresh the page, so this is, and let me remove the URL for now. Okay. So if I submit it now, these values will be sent to the server. We can name it differently, but in order to have logically grouped, we can make it like array. The names should be array. Okay. Now I want to submit this form, but cache the values in PHP. That's what the purpose is. Okay. So here I need to, in the body, I will open a PHP tag like this, and here, okay, anywhere you can do, even at the top of the page. So as I said, all these values, if the form method is, by default it is method is equal to get. So if it is get, the values will be available in $get. So let us copy this code, or maybe we can do it here also quickly. So let us uncomment these values. So what it will do, it will output all the values inside the get array, $_get array. Okay. Print underscore r function is used to output an array, and pre is just to format it. So if I submit this form now, let us remove this. All the values will be inside the $_get array, and we can print them at the moment. So let us go to the page. Right now it is showing as empty because get is empty. There are no get parameters here. But let us now Wasim, Akram, Lahore, blood group is AB, and interests are this and hockey, or maybe programming, and register. So if I click on the register, now you should notice what the output of the array is. Okay. So here you can see the first name, so $_get first name. This is associative array. Is Wasim, the last name is this, city. Why is city an array again?
Multiple.
Because this is multiple.
We have
Select this. So if we select 1 or 2 or 3, it will inside be an array itself. So this is known as nested array. Okay, or multi-dimensional array. The blood group is B plus. Interest, again we have created checkboxes. So checkboxes can be selected more than once, and we made it an array as well. So you can see it again is an array, and it has two values, cricket and programming. Two values have been selected. So what do you deduce from it, deduct from it? This is actually, to PHP, the name attribute is very important. The name attribute is very important in HTML input elements for forms, because in $get we have to access each element with its name. So for example, first underscore name. So whatever is the name attribute in HTML, first name or last name or whatever, so in $get you will get it via these name attributes. Okay, so $get first name means the name element is first underscore name. It's very easy actually, you just need to know. So for example, if I refresh the page, now it's Wasim, because I'm outputting only Wasim here. Okay, now let us suppose in real world you will, if I check the form now, because these are all hard-coded values, these are hard-coded values. In real world they will come from database. These settings will come from database. So for example, you have database table of cities, and you want all of these values coming from database. So what you can do, we will deal that later, but at least in the form, let us create an array at the top of the page. Okay, and we will call it cities. $cities equal to Lahore, Karachi, Peshawar, Quetta, D.I. Khan, Multan, Mardan, and so on. Right? So all the values are now in array. Right? So yeah, so in real world, in from database, if you fetch something, it will be stored in an array like this. So then in the form here, these are hard-coded values. So what we can do, which part of this should be a loop? Any guess? Options. Good, because you are repeating it here. Should we include this also in the loop, or it should remain hard-coded?
It will remain
Hard-coded, because we need to have one value. Please select. So this will be the loop stuff.
Yes,
So if this is going to be the loop stuff, so here we will open PHP, opening and closing, like this. Okay, you can do it the two methods I have shown you in the first class, but we will just, for example, this one, I will copy it, but first you need to loop through this variable now, cities. So for each cities as city. Okay, remember one thing, and this is general for any loop. Whatever you type inside the body of a loop, for example, if I just type this, it will be output this many. It will output this. Whatever comes inside the loop body, that is going to be. If for example I print $orange, so though I am looping through the array, but it will only print orange. It will only print orange because whatever you tell the programming language that in your body loop you should have this, so it will do that. But we should utilize the values itself. So here I will move one of this to inside the code, inside the loop. I will delete these two values. So you can say echo, and again because these are two quotes, so you can use single quotes here like this, then dot, then a single quote, like this, dot and dot and single quote, and these two are going to be the variables, the Karachi ones. So this is the city variable, because we are looping through the array. So this Karachi is now a variable. If you have understood what concatenation is, so this will be easy for you now. Is this okay? And maybe let us change it to single again. No need to output all the values, and we will change the name to city as well. Okay, so if we refresh the page, we have now a normal select menu, and all the values are coming from the array, but in real world it will be coming from your data cities table. Okay, so this is constructing form. This is form hasn't yet been submitted to the server. It is just the first loading of the form, and we have involved PHP in it as well. Now if the form is if you select some of the values in the form and submit it, then it will have all of these will be then available to the PHP page via this. Like this. Is this clear? Okay, there is one more important element which is text area. So what is text area? Or maybe we can do that at the end of the form. So text area and name is equal to cover letter, maybe something. So if you need more than one line in a text input, so you will have something like this, and you can have your label here as well. We'll call it cover letter. So, and in any browser you can stretch it so that you can have multiple lines. So it is just like pasting whatever it is. So text area is
like comment.
Comments form, just like comments or any multi-line characters data. You can text data. You can use text area. Okay, there is one more element which is known as. There are times, for example, I need to have some form value. But I don't want it to be shown to the user. For example, this is a form. Okay, but these are visible to the user. There are times when I don't want those values to be visible to the user. For example, that is known as hidden. Input type is equal to hidden, and value is equal to, for example, what I can call my NIC number. This is my NIC number for some reason, or some server ID, or maybe there we'll see what it actually means. Okay, but for now just make it some ID. Value is equal to this. If I refresh the page, that hidden field is not visible, and it should have a name also. Name is equal to, say, NIC. Okay, for some reason I want to send NIC to the server, but I don't want it to be shown to the user. So you can do something like this: input type is equal to hidden, value is equal to, it should have a value attribute then. So if it is submitted to the server, how can I grab it? Anybody? $sign get NIC. Let us output it in the code here. $sign get NIC. So what are you expecting if I submit it? I am not going to make any inputs here. Maybe for other I can, but I am outputting it as an NIC here, just the NIC here. So if I submit the form, it is showing me the NIC. So if you want to send something to the server in a form, but you don't need to display it to the user, then you should use hidden. But you should not save sensitive information in this, for example some password or anything like this, because if you go to the page source, it will be visible. Okay. Can anybody tell me if for example if I just access forms.php right now, you will see an error. Notice undefined index NIC in this online 19. Why is it so? Because
we are getting NIC.
Because we are getting NIC online 19. This is the first instance.
Exactly.
And
we haven't yet pushed something.
Exactly. We haven't yet sent something to the. So always for such things you should use this if statement. If and then and move it inside the if. So this you should be accustomed to in PHP. This is NIC, okay? So if is set, you should use if is set. This is a function. If is set $sign get in NIC. If is set $sign get NIC, then print it. Otherwise, not. So if I just open it, now there is no error. But if I submit it, then it should display the NIC. So is set is a lot used in PHP to check whether a variable is set or not. Okay, so this is not a good practice to, for example, if I now submit this form and select all values, this and this is the cover letter, and submit it. So all the values are there in the URL. Because of the get form type method, all the values are inside the URL. So this is only good for search forms, so that you can bookmark it. I can bookmark this URL now if you are searching something in the forms. Yeah, but for normal forms you should use post method. So the method is post, POST, post. What post will do is it will add the same data, but it will not be visible in the URL to the server. So now the method is post. So you should have $sign underscore post here. Now all the data of the form will be available inside $sign underscore post, not $sign underscore get. One more thing, it is small letters in HTML, but in PHP it is $sign underscore post or $sign underscore get. This is also $sign underscore post. And let us print all the values in it, not just NIC. And we can or maybe we can leave it for now just like this. Okay, so if I add all these values now, and submit it, the values have been submitted to the sub. Maybe we didn't save the form or reload the form. Actually, we should reload the page first so that so now the form has been submitted with all the data in it to forms.php, but if you can notice, there is no query parameters inside the URL. So this is very secure method of all the registration data, login data, all such things should be using post form type. Is this clear? We will come back to the form when we are building actually the blog. Okay, one of them is, I haven't mentioned it here, but it is called server request global variable, which is if I just output another one here, $, let me just change it to $_request, this, just this. Okay, if I submit the form like this, and sorry, this is server request method, not the $_request. Request has just post, get, and cookie data, and this is not preferred over post and get, so we should not be using them this. But there is another one which is $server. This is also super global in PHP. Okay, and the request method $server, and it has request method in it. So if I just submit my form again, so the method is post. So you can, if on server, post. If the method is post, do something. If the method is get, do this. Okay, so you can if on this at times, if $_server method post. Okay, also let us just check what $_server. This is also a super global array. So what it is, let me just confirm. If I submit it, so it has a lot of this information. $server has server related information for you. The most important one is, for example, if you script name, it means from which file is this. So it's the name of the file, your file. PHP self is also forms.php. Even request time, you can see request time, what it is, and what is this number? Any guesses?
The Unix time series.
Well done, because we discussed it before the class. Okay, So for example, if you need to know what the request time of the page is, request time means when was it accessed. So what we can do, let us just Control C, and the value is request time, right? So at the bottom of the page here, maybe P paragraph tab, this page was last accessed. Now is HTML, I need to have some PHP in it, so this PHP and $ underscore server and request time. Underscore time, like this. This page was, you might have seen something like this already. So this page was lost access this. If I refresh the page, why is it not showing anybody quickly? We are not echoing, we are just using the variable. So this was last access this. Now this is a string, and you just need to go to Google, change Unix timestamp to time PHP. Simple, we will copy it. Date is a PHP function, very powerful, and it has its own documentation, HIS, and this is the yeah. So we'll just copy this for now, and here, for example, echo date. This is date function, okay? PHP date function. If I just Google PHP date function, it has a lot of documentation. PHP date function, this one. You can see, if you go to the official documentation on the PHP manual, so it has this chart which we can follow, where it is. Yeah, this one is fine. So for example, if you need to show a date in, say, this format, March 10, this with time, okay? So what you can do, date FJYGIA. This is just the format. Let me zoom it in. This one. F means capital letter month. J is this date, and then the Y is means year. So in this function here, MDY, this is hour, this is minutes, this is seconds, okay? And this is the date. So what do you mean? This is hard coded value. We will actually use this one, okay? And I will remove this one now. So it will convert the Unix timestamp to, and we have to close the PHP tag, okay, like this. So if I refresh the page now, this page was last accessed this. If I access it after, say, 2 minutes, so maybe this will be increased. Got it? So $server actually has a lot of information for you. If in case we need it ever, we can use it. But again, as I have said, arrays are very important in PHP, and everything almost is array here in $server, underscore post, get. So all these values are associative arrays. Okay, let us do some form validation. Right now we are able to submit this form without anything.
in empty.
We can submit empty form. With JavaScript, you can use something like this. You can disable the button if the form is not, but that is JavaScript. JavaScript is in the browsers. Okay, so if somebody disables, do you know you can disable JavaScript from developer tools? So if somebody disables the JavaScript and you have written form validation, and then they will be able to submit the form, which is not good. So you should have server-side validation of forms also. You should have server-side validation of forms also, not just the JavaScript one. Okay. So for example, I need to when this data reaches server, I need to have some form validation on it. One more thing, let us quickly create some CSS. I was planning to add or maybe we can just quickly add some Talent CSS. Talent CSS. What is the quickest way to add it? CDN. So we will just add this. Like this. Is this okay? Now we can use Tailwind CSS without any compilation at the moment. So okay, now you know. Let us hide this print server so that things are clean. We have changed the method to post. So my question is, in which variable should be all the values of the form on the server when we submit the form? It should be in $_post. Okay, so for example, this is the input for first name and I don't want it to be empty. So what we can do is, on the server means when the form is submitted and it reaches the PHP page. So here, for example, we are already here. Okay, so if $_post and first underscore name is equal to for example empty. So what should I do here? For example, I can add I can add a message, echo please enter your first name, like this. Okay, so for example, if I just submit the form now, please enter your first name, and again we should be checking is set. Okay, so that's why the first error, enter your first name. If I do the same for if is set if post this, so if is set, you should have something like this. If is set $first underscore name, and for and we can use this also, this or ampersand. And here if is set this and $first name is equal to khali, empty. Okay, so what we can do, we can echo please enter your first name. Is it okay? So if I just now submit the form, this is because of Tailwind CSS, the default styles are have been removed, so just ignore it for now. If I submit it, so please enter your first name. But this is not a good way of doing it. Okay, what can be the best way?
We could create a div for a pop message.
Yeah, the best thing is, firstly you need to have some data structure for it. So if any of the values is empty, we will create, let us do it quickly. We will create an array. As I said, arrays are very important in PHP. So we will create an empty array, errors. Okay, errors means this is an array which is empty at the moment. But if this first name is empty, so what I will do, I will not echo it here, I will just populate this array. So errors is equal to, and you don't need to have array underscore push, which you can just use two brackets and then the value, so it will be added to the array. So if the value is empty, the first name empty, so we are adding that to the array. If the last name is also empty, we are adding that to the array as well, into your last name. So if both are empty, how many values are there in the array now? 2. So this array will only be filled when there are errors, remember. Okay, when there are errors or there are empty values, then we are filling this array. So right now we have a PHP function which is known as count. Count is for counting the number of values in array. So count errors will be 2. Got it? Okay, now just about the form here, outside of the we will create a UL and LI. Okay, just outside the form elements. So here we will open PHP tags and close it, or maybe or let us do it this. Okay, so PHP open and PHP closed. Now we need to output ULs, so echo UL and echo closing UL. Like this. Now you need to have LIs. Okay, we need to have LIs so that all of the values in the errors array are printed. So what we can do, for each errors as $error, okay, so print or echo li dot, what does dot mean? Concatenation. And this is going to be error dot li, closing li. Okay, so we are outputting UL, and for each errors as error li error this. Let us give it some color also. So class is equal to red dash text dash red dash 500, for example. For this is a tailwind class for red color. So now let us try if things are working fine. Initially there will be some error, but let us ignore that for now. If I leave first and last name empty and just click on the register, so we now have an array with colors. And why is it showing like this? Because now array has 2 values. Okay, and one more thing, because we will be dealing with the databases shortly, so this is one of the powerful ways. So for example, this code is I have this some code which involves adding data to the database. Okay, so what we can do is, if count and the errors array, if count errors is equal to 0. What does this mean? There are no errors. There are no errors. So then submit data to the database. So this is very good practice to create arrays for errors, and if the size of the array, the count of the array is 0, it means there are no errors. Then do something to the database, for example, or whatever you want to do. Right now I am outputting this as I don't know if there are errors in it. So what we can do, we can use an if statement here also, if and close if here. So if count errors is greater than 0, what does this mean? If we have an error, then you should display the ULs and analyze, otherwise not. And if there are 0 elements in the errors array, it means there are no errors, then we should insert the database. So let us have some break, and then we will come back with creating a database and adding data to the database and fetching records. So welcome after the break. We will now have a basic blog website with the backend database backend, and we will be linking it with PHP. So we know enough now of databases. You can refer to the database normalization lecture, and we have learned enough PHP. So throughout this project we will be learning even more PHP, but it will be now easier for you. So let's start. This is just in text application. I have created some tables. We will have a users table. So in a blog website, those users will be able to log in, as well as they will be able to post articles on the website. So only these users can post articles on the website. Then the articles page, so individual blog post is an article. It will have, so let us go first to the users table. It is user ID, it will be int. This is the name of the user, email and username, password, status. Maybe there is a user, we want that user to be disabled on the site for some reasons. So maybe his status is 0, otherwise it will be 1. And date means the date this user was created. I mean, this person registered on the site. So if somebody has registered this year, after 2 years we can show this guy is 2 years old on our website, for example. Then articles, so article will have an ID which is int 11, title, description, and status. Status means maybe there is an article which is in the database, but we want to make it remain unpublished, so it will be 0. So this can be published, unpublished status column. Okay, if it is 1, it means it is published, because we don't want to, maybe there are times when we don't want to delete an article, so we can temporarily move its status to 0. So its record will be in the database, but it will not be showing on the page. And then date means the date this article was submitted, and UID, what does this mean? This user submitted this article, so it will be foreign key of this table. Is this clear? Then we have to have blog categories. So category ID and name, for example, this can be sports, showbiz and all. Then images are uploaded with the blog articles. So for example, if an article has 10 images, so all those will be here. File name, article ID, and delta means the first image will be 0, the second will be 1, and so on. We will see how it works once we are into how to link categories and articles. If an article falls into 2 categories, so we will have to create a junction table, remember?
Yes.
So we can call it blog, or maybe category cat junction. So it will have 2 columns. Or maybe 3 even. So the first one is primary key. It can be CJ ID or whatever, and then article ID and category ID or cat ID. So this way we will know which article falls in which category. Got it? Okay, let us create these tables now in the MySQL database. So I already have PHP MyAdmin open, and let us the name of my database is LAMP because I have installed it in Lando. So by default in PHP it is LAMP. Let us create a table and name it users. You should have the table names in small letters, even the column names. I do it so maybe you should be habitual with that as well. So users, the name of the table is users, and it should have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 columns. The first one is UID, user ID, int 11, and it should be the primary key, and auto increment as well. Auto increment means by default it will be incrementing. The second is name, so it will be varchar, maybe 100 is fine as well, or 150 is fine. And it should also be not null. Null means if you check this it will be null, otherwise so not null is fine. Then username, it is also varchar and maybe 150. Then let us go back there. Email, status and password. So where is it? Email, it is also varchar, 150 is fine. Then password is also varchar, maybe somebody has a very long password, 250 is fine. Then status is 10, so it will only say be either 1 or 0, so maybe small int is fine. This is small int and its length is 1, so it will have only either one value, either 0 or 1. And what was the last one? Date. So date, as I said, we will save dates in Unix timestamp, so it will be maybe some value whatever it is. So int, let us check today's date in Unix timestamp. So it is going to be 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. So let us make it maybe 20 for now. Is this fine? Okay, we'll just create the table. So users table has been created. Then let us create a new table here. New. The table name is going to be articles. Articles AID, title, description, status, date, and UID. So articles name is AID int 11, and this is going to be AI means auto increment. Then title, the title of the blog post, so it should be varchar 250 maybe. Then we should have description, and description should be text because it adds more than varchar, which is 255 by default. So maybe text has a lot of an article can have a lot of text in it, so we should choose type. Then status, date, and UID. So status should be small int because it is either 1 or 0. Okay, these are 4. Now we can add 2 more and go. So another one is date and UID. Yes, so date means submitted, or we can call it submitted underscore date or anything like this. Okay, so submitted means it will be a date, and you can make it 20. Yeah, published date. And then we have status. So status means whether it should be published or not.
It's not status, UID.
Yeah, UID, sorry. And UID can be 11 maybe. So it is primary key from, let us keep it like this for now. So AID, title, description, status, submitted, and UID 6. Let us check if these are 6. Yes. If we need any other columns, so we can add them later on as well. For now these are okay, because we are just going to give you a basic overview of how we should do things in PHP with databases. Okay, so now it's fine to just save it and create this table. So articles table has also been created. Now we are going to create the categories table. Categories, and it should have two columns is fine, or maybe table name is this. So CID int 11, and it should be AI, and C name, category name, this should be Vacha, so maybe 255 is fine, or 50, whatever, and save. So categories table has also been created. Next, next is images. So image file name maybe, yes, file name, article ID, and delta. We can do in a professional, like in Drupal you have a separate file system mechanism for databases, but here we will do it the easier way for now. So let us create a table and call it images. Images. So there will be image ID is int 11, and it should be AI auto increment, then file name, and should be Vacha 255. Then we should article ID. Why is this article ID here? Anybody?
We can access user ID.
Belongs to this.
Yeah, exactly.
This image belongs to this article. Every single article have multiple images.
Exactly. So maybe if there are 10 images in an article, so all of those IDs will be in each row. And then what's the delta? This field will be evident once we use it, but for now just it will have, say, 3 is fine. Okay, so if an article has delta, means, for example, if there are 10 images, so we can reorder them based on these delta values. If we don't have delta value, maybe we are not able to reorder those easily, so we will it will make sense once we are there, but for now this is the delta column, and we'll just save it. Okay, so images table has also been created. Next we are going to create yes, cat junction, so that we can know which article goes into which category. And this is one article can be more than one category, that's why we are going to create this. Otherwise it would have been fine if we have one-to-one relationship, then we will create one category ID column here, but as there can be more than one category in the blog, so that's why we have created this table. So cat junction, we will name it. It will have its own ID, AI, then category ID, and we have article ID. Is this okay? So these three are needed so that we can have a relationship between the article categories and the article IDs, and save. So database is ready, sort of. Now let us initially add some articles to, or let us start it with categories first, so that it's easy. For example, I need to add a few categories. So if you go to insert, I'll add sports, showbiz, and go. If I go to categories, now we will have to and yes, you can add more as well. So what else?
Sports.
And so on. These four are okay for now, right? So if I go to categories now, these are the categories. Let us say it. Now let us show this on our page, on our website. Okay. So for example, if I come to index.php, here I need to have maybe some column where on the left I need to show all the categories of the site. Okay. So, or even let us create a new page, categories.php, and let us move all this code into categories.php. Yeah. Now in the database we have four values, but we want to show those on our page, on our website. So let us start just like in any if you need to log into your database systems like PHP, MySQL, or anything else. If you have installed XAMPP, so maybe you need root password, root username, root password, or maybe password is empty. Similarly, in my setup, the database name is root, password is also root, and database server is also root. These three are all root. LAMP. In my case, it is LAMP. In your case, it would be the database user will be root and password is empty. Okay. So because databases are secure, if you have a username and password, then you can log in and interact with the database, otherwise not. So what we can do is, let us start with the PHP tags, open and close. Okay. There are three ways MySQL functions, MySQLi functions. The first one is obsolete now, not supported. MySQLi is still there, and another one is PDO in PHP. If you go to PDO PHP, and it has its own manual. It is known as PHP data objects. Okay. So in any programming language, if you want to connect with your page with the database, you need to have the connection first. Okay. So let me first let us create a variable, call it DSN. Normally it is known as DSN. Okay. It can be anything, ABC also. So DSN is just a string, and you should know what strings are now. String is just ABC. This is string actually. Okay. So DSN is, but before DSN, let us create individual variables. So host is equal to LAMP. in my case it is host is database, or I will confirm, but for now let us the host means the database host name. Okay, so it is host. Username is, in my case it is lamp, in your case it will be root. Username and password is lamp. Then there is a character set. This is UTF-8. Character set means the characters which can be used during a database, in a database. And then we have database name. So it is lamp in my case, and in your case whatever is the name of the database you should give that. Okay, so in DSN now you can use these variables so that you can get the connection right.
UTF-8.
Yes, UTF-8. Okay, one thing is port. So you can have port also. Let us create a variable for port also. By default MySQL runs on 3306. Okay, so if you have any other port you should give that name. Okay, so now we have to construct DSN means a string from these variables. Okay, so we will need some concatenation. So by default we have MySQL, because the database is MySQL. If you use Oracle or anything else you should use Oracle, but we have MySQL, and the host is equal to this variable which we have set up here. Yeah, so it will be what if I need to use this host variable inside this string, so what should I do? You know it now. Host is equal to $host, but this will not be interpreted. What we need to do is concatenate it like this. Okay, so host is equal to this, and port is equal to $sign port, like this. Do you think this will be interpreted? We need to concatenate it. So dot, should have some practice on concatenation also. Okay, port dot and then we have DB name equals $sign DB name. And it will also be concatenated so that we can have it interpolated. Okay. The next thing is character set or char set. So char set equals $sign char set, this one. Okay, so in order to make it interpolated, we again have to make it like this, and dot. Okay, let me quickly print dsn just to know if things are fine, and the page is categories.php. okay, so here we have categories.php, and if I know db name, okay, db name, this is going to be db name, the database variable is db name, or okay, so MySQL host is equal to database. Okay, we need to have colon here, port is equal to this, db name is equal to this, we have to have the semicolons between, so let us add those also. MySQL host is equal to this dot semicolon this, port is equal to this, db name is equal to this, car set is equal to this, and that's it probably. So db host is equal to database, port is equal to this, db name is equal to lamp, character set is equal to this. So probably the dsn string is okay now. We'll check. Okay. The next step is we will study object oriented PHP later on, but right now we should start using it in the case for PDO. okay, so let us create a PDO object. You already have studied some classes in JavaScript, so it is kind of similar. PDO is equal to new keyword, and it will be PDO. The class name is PDO, like this. okay, so it has 3 parameters, and this is the constructor of PDO object. So okay, the DSN, the username and password. So DSN is this string, you now know it. okay, DSN, and then we have the database username and password here, which we didn't use it here. We have to use it in the new PDO. So the username is username and password is password, because we have already defined it here. You can directly use them here as well, the string also, the username and password, that's not an issue, but it is very easy to change variables rather than, for example, here what we can do is, I already have this, so what we can do is just copy, and I will say PDO 2 equals new PDO, and the string, the first one is this, comma, username is lamp, and password is lamp. So both of these are equivalent. okay, there is no difference between these two, but since creating variables and that is easier, that's why we won't use this, the upper one is fine. If any value changes, so you can quickly change it in. okay, now PDO is equal to new PDO, the DSN, the username and password. The next step is $PDO now is an object. okay, so just like in JavaScript there used to be dot to access an object name dot, in PHP we have arrow like this. So whenever you see this arrow in PHP, means to the left of it is the object. okay, so PDO set attribute, you have to use this one so that we have some error handling. Set attribute, this is a method, object has methods. okay, so just like in JavaScript you have, if it had been JavaScript it would be PDO dot set attribute, but here it is PDO arrow set attribute, and set attribute is PDO, this is a constant. okay, PDO error mode. okay, ATR error mode, the first one. Your Visual Studio Code will prompt you for this. okay, it's easy. PDO and double colon ATR. We will study what these double dots mean, okay, but for now just take it as this. PDO set attribute this, and the second parameter is comma PDO double colon like this, and it is, these are actually constants, okay. We will study about constant in classes. Error mode exception, that's it. These are the two values you need to just add. So firstly what you do is PDO is equal to new PDO, the DSN string you created here, username of the database and password, and then what you do is PDO set attribute these two values. These are constant in PDO object. The next is if I go to PHP myadmin and if I go to SQL and I run select all from categories, what do you expect will be coming? Select all from categories.
Category data will be shown.
Yeah, all the categories data will be shown. So these are the category data shown. But now we have connected, hopefully this connection is working. This is the new connection to the database from the PHP page, and then we have just set the attributes so that we have some error handling, okay. So here the next step is just like there we ran a query, so here we will run a query PDO like this PDO, and we have a method called query. This is the query, just like you are typing it there, here we are running it manually. So the query is select all from categories, and at the end of this, okay. So PDO select all from categories. This is you can think about it as you have run the query either in MySQL prompt or in PHP myadmin, and it returns a variable, whatever it is, okay. Return value, we can call it anything for now, okay. So PDO query select all from categories. The next step is we have to or let us call it query. Now we will do query fetch and fetch all. This is a method, okay. Query, whatever is returned from this, we will have to use the object operator because the return value is an object itself, and fetch all. Fetch all accepts a constant as well, which is known as PDO, and I will explain it as well why it is so. PDO fetch assoc. If you know what is associative array now, so what this means that return these records to me in associative array, and associative array is the name of the columns will be these column names in the table. So CID and CNAME will be the column names in the array it will return for you, okay. So query fetch all PDO fetch assoc now, and it returns an array. I will call it records is equal to this, okay. Let me comment out something so that you can understand. This is create a new PDO connection object, set attribute for error handling, run the MySQL query, it returns an object itself, okay. Then this query is now an object, okay, and if we run fetch all method of that object, so this will return data in an associative array. Okay, now records, if all things are fine, let me just dump print underscore r records, and just check the page if it is working fine. Okay, it's UTF-8. Okay, so now you can see it's in array, and you can see some data already from the database on your page, but this is sort of the var dump, so let us loop through it. Okay, so we have now this records array, it is working fine, and let me just remove these two. Here in the page, in the body, let us do it in UL and LIs. So when should I display this record? If there are more than one record in the array, this array. Okay, so we can say if count is a function, to count record is greater than 0. What does this mean? That we have record in the array. Here we will print or echo ul and then loop. Let me just for now call it loop, and then print ul, closing ul. So it is a loop. So for each records as record rec or anything, or record is fine. Okay, record. So here now as it is an associative array, so records as record, this is single record now. So each column is an associative array. So record, and what's its name in the database? CNAME. Okay, so this is going to be CNAME. The associative array name is the database column name. Okay,
Yes.
the index name is this, and we can just check if things are fine.
Echo.
Yes, echo this. If I refresh the page, are we including?
We are not including inside the LI.
Yes. So what we need to do is concatenate LIs. Li dot and dot li. So now this data is coming from the database. If I add another entry here, in the right now we haven't created any interface from our page, but if I create another page, insert, say communication, and another one as food. Okay, two categories I am adding, and I will add those to the database. If I refresh the page now, this page, what are you expecting?
It will have two more categories.
Two more, because the data is coming from the database. That's the advantage of database applications. So now we haven't added anything extra to the code. The only task you as a user of the application will be to add data to the database and show it here. So what we did, simple. These are some variables so that you can easily know what these are. The host name is database, the username is lamp. In this my case it is lamp, okay. In your case it will be root, and maybe the password is empty if you have used something. And in real world, once you have a hosting, they will give these details in an email to you. So once you have made your website live, you will change it accordingly. Okay, the character set is UTF-8. These are just variables we are defining. The DB name is lamp, the port is this. So we construct the DSN string, MySQL colon host is equal to, then just these values concatenated with a semicolon between. Then we create a new PDO object, DSN, username is this, password is this, and this DSN, okay. PDO set attribute, these are constants, it means some error handling related to the PDO object. And then query, what we do is on this object we run the query as well, just like normal queries. And fetch all means fetch all the records which this query has and record. So this is now, and this constant means PDO fetch a source, that I should have it in an associate array, as an associate array. So now we are just looping through it. We already have done this in our previous lecture, and we are showing the records. Okay, we can also display its ID with it. How can we do? Another concat, and as I said, the column name is the array key, so it is CID. And if we add some space or some dash with it, so you can know that we have this. So if I refresh it, 1 is sports, 2 is this, and this is this, okay. Is this clear?
Yes.
Now let us create articles also. Let us quickly create articles also. So as I said, we should have another page called articles.php, okay. It will show title and description and then so on. So articles.php, let me copy code from this. Okay, one thing, that's the advantage of using includes in our code. So wherever you need to use database in your pages, you should write this code. So why not have it in some page, because we will need it again and again. So this part, not this, because here the query will be different. So we will copy it and create a folder or anything else, includes, we will call it includes. Inside the includes, we will create a new file called database.php, okay. In database.php, we will just, after creating the, we will add it here. So wherever we need the database connection, we will just include it there. So here in articles.php, first let us create copy the index page, and paste it here. Is it not working?
It is working inside the PHP. The boilerplate expression.
Is it working?
Yes, sir.
Good. Okay, fine. So here I also need connection. So if I need connection, what I can do? Include or require. So require is fine also. Require. Now the file is inside the includes folder, okay. So includes / database.php. It means now our connection is established, and we can use it. Technically you should have try and catch block for connection. For example, try and catch this. Try and catch, sorry, try and catch. So you should put all the code here inside the try. It means maybe this database server is down or anything else, so in that case there will be some error. Okay, so we can try this. Sorry, something like that. The try is okay, and catch is this. Something is missing.
If you don't have E variable, then you are accessing.
Okay, so our code should be in try is this. It will try to create a connection, okay, but if for some reason connection is not working, so we can catch that. Catch means we can have some errors here then. So for example, maybe error info like this. Okay, and if you print it, so for example, let us have some error in this article.php. We are including it, okay, but let us make a change in the password of this. So if we now access articles.php, maybe there is some error. On 15. Yes, this is an array, so print underscore r. So it says access denied for user lamp1 using password yes. Okay, so it will give you some meaningful errors. If it is, it will first try to establish connection. If it works, otherwise it will give you some error. So maybe if everything is fine, we can just call echo connection established. So if it is working fine, if I remove the lamp and access articles now, so connection is established. But if it is not working, it will go to the catch. So in each page now, wherever we need connection, we can include this page. So we needed it in what we can do is we can require remove this code from here, and we will say require includes slash database.php. Okay. Okay, now next thing is we let us create let us add Tailwind to this. And Tailwind, for those who don't know about Tailwind, it's a library of CSS classes, so that you can easily use CSS even in your HTML or PHP pages. So we will include it here. And we have made the connection. Let us first create some articles in the let us copy some and go to PHP myadmin, and we will go to the articles page, insert. Okay, so the first article is cricket match between Sri Lanka and Pakistan, for example, and then the description is this. So it should be some p tags, some p and so on. Okay, then the status, I want it to be published. So 1, submitted. What is today's date? For now, let us have Unix. So we will just copy it, use it here. Okay, and UID, maybe if user 1 is adding it, so we haven't yet added anything into the users table, but for now the author will be UID is 1. Okay, go. Now let us create another article, and this is hockey match, and we will have maybe submitted is this, stated is 1, and let us copy some more lorem ipsum. And the UID is 2, maybe it is by user 2. Okay, and go. So we have now added 2 articles to the page, these 2. Now we need to display these 2 articles on the page in the form of a blog. Okay, and I just want to, for example, display the titles. First I need to just display the titles. So what we can do, Shabas, we already have a connection on the article page, we already have included it. The next step is to
select records.
Yeah, we can select all records. So we will run video query. Okay, just like here in categories we have query, video query, and the this, and then the records. So same, rather just let us copy these 2 lines and go to articles.php. Here select all from, table name is articles. So now it is inside the query, and fetch all. So records now has all the data from the, and let us quickly copy categories code also, this one, to the articles and save. Okay, so now this we need to change this. So AID and title, just the title. Okay, and if I refresh the articles page now, so we have cricket match between Sri Lanka and Pakistan and hockey match. These are 2 articles now. Is this okay?
Yes.
Good. And let us remove the connection established text. Where is it? This. Okay, if I need a third article, what I will do now? Yeah, just add it to the table, and automatically if I refresh the page, the third article will be here. Okay. Okay, now if you might have seen, people click on an article, just the title, it goes to another page, and there is the whole detail. Have you noted?
Yes, sir.
If you click on it, it will go to another page and there will be detail on it. Okay, if you remember from the database, if I need to get the second article, what I will do in the database, from the database, select all from articles
Where user ID or
where
AID is equal to 2.
where AID is equal to
2.
where AID is equal to 2. That's it. So if I just run it, only the second article will be shown to me. Got it? So let us quickly create a 2-column layout in. I didn't want to go to CSS, that's why we are using Tailwind, but still we need some quickly some 2-column layout. So how can we do it? You will have to help me out. Okay. This is def class is equal to flex and okay, and then we have to def class is equal to titles, and then we have a class is equal to detail, like this. Okay, so if this is how can we have 2-column layout, flex and this. Okay, so on the left we will move all this code to the left of in this left column, like this. Okay, and in the right I will just for now write this is the detail place holder. If I refresh the page, so probably it is working fine, but we need to have some gap also, and maybe background. How to add background in Tailwind? Dash gray dash or 200 is fine. Okay, and the columns gap dash 5 is fine. Okay, maybe we need to add some border for now, so border dash 2. So this is the detail page, and this is the, and let us add some batting also, p dash 12. Okay, and let us do the same p dash 6 and bg dash red dash 400. Okay, this is just simple for your understanding, or maybe we have to give it very light color. Okay, so now technically when I click on this, it should show me the title and the body. Okay, so how can we do that? You already have studied what get parameter is. So if I, for example, add a question mark after the article's ID and ID is equal to, for example, 2, and enter. So it means this page now has information for ID is equal to 2. We can cache that 2. We can cache 2, and yes, so this will be get. The URL is going to be a get. So in this body, in the details section, here we will just open a PHP tag for now and close. Okay, so $sign underscore get ID. What it means, whatever comes in the URL. Okay, if I just print this, print $get ID, So what do you expect now if I refresh the page? So 2. If it is 1, if id is equal to 1, so it is 1. Got it? Now coming back to this query where aid is equal to 2. So we can catch that get here on that page. So whatever is the id which is coming in the URL, we will have to query on that. Okay, so let us quickly do that. So if I just copy the, because we already have a connection, if I just copy these 2 lines, you can do it on the top of the page also, but here, for example, whatever is coming in the get id, I will give it a variable of article id. Article underscore id is equal to whatever is coming in the get id. And this is the query. Query is this, and record is this. Okay. So video query select all from articles where where aid equals this aid article, because it is coming from the database. Dollar article underscore id. Okay, but again we need to have concatenation so that this variable is interpolated. So like this. Okay.
Yes.
So select all from articles where aid is equal to aid. What does this mean? Whatever is coming in the get. So now records is equal to fetch all, and because it will always be 1, id is, if id is 1, right now the article will be 1, so we can use fetch also. Fetch like this, simple fetch. Okay, so here as the article is 1, not array. Okay, so we have used fetch. We can use all also, but in all we have to loop. But here since it is just so we will call it record. Here I will just output $sign record inside the PHP print or print record $sign, but let us be h1. Okay, so dot $sign record title, because whatever is the database column name, it is the array associative array column name, and h1 will be closed. Okay, sorry, after okay, and also we need to print a div, print div open, and you can use the other method also, and then we will have in the div we will have, let us do the closing first. Like this. This is the closing or this? Okay, here we need to print the the detail of the article. So it is record description, and it is the column name in the database description. Let me double check if it is the key. This is description, because we need to have this description also. So if I come to the code again, let us just refresh the page if things are fine, hopefully. We have select all from. Okay, it means our query has some error. So select all from articles where aid is equal to article underscore id. Yeah, Okay, let us give the h1 some class is equal to some bold text size class. So what it can be? If you have to use double quotes inside, then it's better if you can use single quotes like this, and we will remove the one. Okay, text dash 4xl is fine. Okay, okay. So cricket match between Sri Lanka and Pakistan, because the ID here is 1, so this will, the query depends upon this. If it is 2, if the query has 2, then hockey match, and the data is coming all from the database. So do you think it is the right way to give IDs in the URL and nobody does so, right? So we need to automate this. So how can we do this? On the left, if you remember, on this, these are just the title, and from where we are fetching them, these are being fetched from this select all from articles, okay, and query all. Then we are looping through, this is the titles section on the left. We are looping through this page, right?
We have to put it inside the anchor tag.
Very good. So what we can do is, inside the LIs we can create A tags. So again concatenation A like this, okay, and it will be in this. Let us do the href part a bit later, and here we will close the concatenation and the A like this. For example, okay, we can do it in one line as well. Okay, now we need to have href. Href is equal to, here we need to have a path of the page, right? So the page is the same articles.php, so it will be articles.php, okay, but question mark id is equal to, here we need to have, just like we are record id here, we need to have it here as well, so that it automatically becomes a link and id is automatically passed. So id is equal to this record aid, and again, since we are breaking it, what we will need to do, we will need to concatenate it. So this dot and then this, and here we need to have this and dot, okay. So we have created it as a link. Now if I refresh the page, unexpected ID in line 46, okay, maybe we are not closing something here probably.
So here at the end, in line 36, we have syntax error.
Lines in echo li a.
So at the end of this line, continuation error. Anchor take double. We should close it in double quotations.
Yeah, good. Thank you. So you can see it is a link now. And if you can see on the bottom of the page, if I zoom it in, so each article has its own ID along with the page, right? So control 0 or maybe plus. Okay, if I click on any article now, if I click on this, it is the first one, this is the second one. Got it?
Yes.
I have not created any other links. All of this is now dynamic. So you can assume you can have thousands of articles from the database and articles titles just in this one page of articles. Now you don't need to create any separate HTML pages. Just last thing, for your confirmation, I will add one more article here. articles. I go to articles table, insert. This is third article, and this is the detail of third article, right? And maybe some lorem ipsum. Okay, I now have entered added this text, get integer verify status. Okay, we need to add other stuff as well. So insert, this is third article, this is lorem ipsum, this is status is 1, submitted is this, and UID is 2, and go. So you have added the third article, right? Now if I refresh the page, what do you expect? Anybody? Third article also here. And if I click on it, I am easily going to its own page. So this is a system which you have created today. Hopefully we will improve on it as the course moves on. Okay, welcome after yet another break. So far we haven't added any security steps to the way we have been coding. So let's do something. Also, one of the question in the break was about get parameters. So let me repeat those as well. So let me create a new file, and I will call it get.php. Okay. Okay, so if some PHP code has just some PHP page has just PHP code, so we can skip the closing one. Here, for example, if I access get.php and just print or echo working fine, so the page is going to print working fine. Get.php, so it will be working fine, means the page is working. Okay, now if I pass anything after question mark, for example, name is equal to Jamal, okay, enter. So we are still accessing get.php, but with an additional question mark, name is equal to Jamal, means additional variable is being sent to this page request, and we can catch it in PHP. If you need to send more than one variable, so maybe you use then ampersand father name is equal to Kamal, for example. If I enter it, so I am going to access get.php, but with two additional variables now. These are known as get parameters. So what does this mean? I am going to access get.php, but I need to pass these two pieces of information as well, which are known as query parameters. In the page, we can get them from the $_get supergroup global. Okay, so here whatever is the query parameter, let me just type in because I'm not able to zoom the URL.
Magnifying glass, right?
This one?
Yes, sir.
This is 500%, but still it's not working. So let me just copy. So this is up to here is the page URL, and then name is equal to Jamal and father name is equal to Kamal. It means there are two additional pieces of information with this page which we are sending to the server. So on the server, for example, if you invite somebody and there he sends you two packets or envelopes, okay, so one envelope is name and another one is father name. So here we can cache those in PHP page, we can cache those which has been sent by the client. So in order to cache the first one, it will be name. So if I print name and dot br, br means for the next line, and then print $sign father name. That's it. Let us remove this now. Okay, so whatever now I pass to the query parameter, it is being printed here. So if I enter the page, Jamal and Kamal, they use the name and the father name. These are get parameters, and we are printing them here. Print $sign get name. So whatever is being sent in the URL as query parameters, those can be caught or manipulated via the $sign underscore get array. So you can have plenty of such query parameters in a URL. Okay. So if it is an ID, if I pass an ID, so it will be ID. If I pass and ampersand, ID is equal to 10. So this is now the third one. So how can I will just copy this. At the top of them, I will change it to ID. So now ID is also being passed to this page. So now this is the ID. Okay. It has to do nothing with database IDs, column IDs or whatever. This is just the extra information we are sending to this .php page. But we can use them in the page then. For example, if I pass some ID here, so in the page, if I have to query database, so I can use this ID, whichever has been passed in the URL. Okay, for where condition or anything like that. But what you need to know is that these three things have been sent to get.php as extra parameters, which are known as query parameters, and you can use those for some reasons. Okay. Okay, next. Now what is SQL injection, for example, or cross-site scripting? So we need to study these some concepts. Let me first create a table in PHP MyAdmin. This is our database lamp, and it has these tables. Let me create a test table, and it should have one ID, int 11 AI, and then we have name, which is varchar, and maybe 255, and we should create this table by saving it. So table has been created, a test table. Now let us add some entries into it. So the name is Jamal, and another one is Kamal. Okay, so 2 entries will be added to this this table. It has now 2 records. Now, for example, from yesterday's code, if I just copy categories.php, we will include the database connection and then query all from categories, and then we will fetch the records and loop through them. So let me just copy these into get.php for now, and this. So select all from categories. I'm running I'm fetching all the records from categories, but not all the records. I want to fetch whatever is passed as a query parameter to the page. So where ID is equal to, it is CID, because the column name in database is CID is equal to $sign concatenation and $sign underscore get. If the ID is the query parameter is id, so it will be id, otherwise whatever. Or I can even call it category underscore id for your understanding, so that it is no way related with the database column name. Okay, so what does this mean? It means whatever is passed in the query string, I am going to fetch that record. Okay, so for example, in get.php, this is get.php question mark category underscore id, question mark category underscore id is equal to 2. So what will it fetch? Category id number 2, because I'm using where cid is equal to this. So this means whatever is passed in the URL. So if 2 is passed, it will fetch cid is equal to 2. Otherwise, if 1 is passed, it will fetch that category. And then we should loop through the records here, just like this. And you should now know whatever is being returned from this fetch all method of the query, we are looping through it, and it will output that particular category like this. If count is greater than 0 means if we are able to fetch something, then print these values as ul and li. So what do you expect if I hit this now to show base, because 2 is the show base. If I change it to 3, the category underscore id to 3, so it will run the SQL query again, and it will be entertainment, and so on. So whatever is being passed as a query string in the URL, your code is running that. So for example, if 3 is passed, this will be 3, where cid is equal to 3. That's why it is outputting it as the third one. Is this okay?
Yes.
But now, for example, if I pass something like this, category underscore id is equal to 3, and maybe if I add something which is not there in the database at the moment, so category underscore id is equal to this 2 3 4 whatever, or 1 is equal to 1. Again, because I am not able to copy the URL, zoom the URL in, so let me copy just it so that you can see. So now the URL is category underscore id is equal to this, and or is equal to this. Let me do it in so let me change it here, where category id is equal to this, or even capital or 1 is equal to 1. So what this query does, it will check for the category id this, so it is not going to find it.
Yes.
Then it will move to the or, to the right side of the or in SQL. So it will be 1 is equal to 1. So 1 is equal to 1 is always true. So here, for example, select all from this, where cid is equal to this. So this is not going to find 3 to this, but it will go to the or, and it will fetch all the records. Sorry. So if I run this now, it is showing all the records, because it is now implementing to the right of or, and it was not able to find 3 to this one, but when it reached the or and 1 is equal to 1, it means it ran all the records. So maybe this way somebody is able to see all the records of a table, if you are not using some precautionary measures for the security. Similarly, as we have created now this table, test table, with records also. One is Jamal and another is Kamal. So in this query, for example, if I add something like if I add another dot and then semicolon, it means another part of query is coming, second query is coming. So it is separated by semicolon, and it is drop table test. So if I just run this, drop table test, what it will do, it will run this also and then drop table command as well. So let me just remove it from here, and for example some hacker is doing the same from this URL here. So if I just category ID is equal to 2, okay, then semicolon and that query drop table test and then semicolon. It means this because I'm adding extra this to the so in ID it will be this, okay, in get underscore ID, in case of this it will be replaced by this, okay. So let me just run it if it does something. If I just enter it, maybe we have some is equal to this let us check if okay, we have an extra column here. Okay, so it has fetched the first the second number record because the ID was 2, category ID is 2. But if you go to the table now or database now, what is the name of the table?
Test.
Doesn't exist. Actually it is, we need to refresh it. So you can see the table has gone, the test table has been dropped,
Yes, sir.
all the table has been dropped just because of the code we have written. We haven't taken any precautionary measures. So some hacker can do such stuff on your side. Even if, for example, for some reason whatever is being passed to the page like this category ID, I just need to, for example, print it or echo it. So what I can do is $_ get and ID, just like we did a while ago, ID. For some reason, for example, if I need to print this, okay, print $get ID. So at the top of the page, whatever is passed to it, for example, category ID is 2, let us remove this. So it will be printing 2, sorry, category underscore ID, it is category underscore ID. So it will be printing 2. This is that which we are printing. But in case if somebody instead of 2, some hacker passes some JavaScript script opening, script closing, and inside the script we will alert. For now just we will run alert, but if he is wise enough, he can run some JavaScript and Ajax code which can access your database also. So right now we will just say hacked. So if I just run this category ID is equal to script this, the page will show hacked actually, and maybe if he has written some code to access your database or maybe whatever, so he can run code like this. In order to stop it, what we can do is we should pass this the output to HTML special cars or characters function like this. So it won't actually let HTML characters run. So if in case I do it again, just refresh the page. So now you can see this is fatal error because there is no ID now, but at least it is printing the script as it is not interpreting it. it is just a HTML string. Okay, script alert hack this. So at least we can now, if even somebody does this with the ID, he will be able to just see the text rather than running the script.
Yes, sir.
Is this fine?
Yes, sir.
This is known as cross site scripting, and you can Google about it, XSS scripting, something like this. What it is, you can just learn about it. What is cross site scripting? Okay,
Yes.
and how to prevent it in PHP. You can run research about it yourself as well. Okay, but what to do with the SQL queries? I mean, we are still not able to manipulate the ID for databases, so that just one query runs, or PHP cleans your SQL for you. So for that purpose, we can use, let me just comment this line out now. Okay, so PDO query, select all from this, where get ID is equal to whatever. So if you pass an ID, that's fine, but if somebody passes some SQL also, just like we demonstrated, then that will be done, and even your database can be deleted, your tables can be deleted. So what we need to do is, PDO has a function, query is okay as well. If your ID is coming from your page, not from URL, then query is fine. But in that case, what we can do is PDO colon prepare. Okay, so what prepare does is, it lets you pass this query just like before. Select all from categories where CID is equal to this, where CID is equal to okay, where CID is equal to the column ID in the database is equal to, you will use these two dot and CID. So this is a placeholder for this value. We will not do it directly like this. So you will pass a placeholder in the query. Once you use PDO prepare, select all from categories where CID is equal to colon CID. You will not pass get parameter directly like we were doing it here. I will comment this line also. Okay, the next step is, we will call it query or whatever. Okay, the next step is, we will execute the query, this execute function, and it accepts an array. This PDO prepare returns this query object, and it should now be executed, like run, we can call it run even. So query execute, and here you will pass an array. You can even your editor will show you it accepts an array. So what should be inside the array? The array should be an associative array with these placeholders,
Yes,
placeholders. So for example, the first one is CID, this one. So the key is this, so its value will be, actually we are letting PHP know that this is going to be what, because this is a placeholder. So here we have used that placeholder, and here it should be $ category ID, like this. Okay, so now whatever is passed in the query string, whether it is script or whatever, at least PHP will be able to clean it for you. Even if it is extra SQL queries, it won't let you run that. So at least you are now on the safer side. And if I refresh the page, hopefully, question mark category is equal to So it is still running. So prepare, we have changed the query to prepare, and prepare is mostly used in insert queries as well. Okay, so is this clear now? Even if we run some script here, some extra SQL, now it won't be run. Got it? So these are some precautionary measures to get rid of SQL injections, but you can still do further research about all these topics yourself as. Okay, now if you can see, all of our pages are independent PHP pages with their relevant head and body and all these. Okay, but let us do some basic templating. Once we are into some advanced PHP, we'll be doing it differently, but now at least for some we can use some basic templating. Okay, so if there is actually I needed to search for some Talent free templates for this demo, because this is for educational purposes, and I was able to get one from spacema-dev.com. so you can download it as well if you want to. So this is that free effortless free Talent CSS website template, and we are very thankful to the site. I have just changed it some changes in it, and this is how it looks. So thank you very much. This has really helped us to save some time rather than writing all the Tailwind ourselves. This is PHP course, so we had to search for some free Tailwind CSS template. Okay, so this is the page, the index page, and all of these values are static HTML text, and we will change it to PHP, and the data will be coming from the database. Now again, all of these pages are, for example, if I have to show categories in that template, so what I can do right now, if I open categories.php, so these are the categories, right? It has no header, footer and all, but I want to show this in that template. So what I can do is I can copy the index.html, all the code in it, and go to categories.php here, and I will just paste it for now, all this code. Okay, I pasted all the code here, and let me just remove these. Or maybe we have, okay. Okay, this is the PHP part. Now this is the HTML part, and I will just copy the output from here to something in the page. So let me just quickly refresh it. And let us print these categories after the welcome to our blog, for example. So what I can do is, now this is the same page. Okay, here I need to print those values here, or maybe inside this. So I will paste it here and refresh the page. So these values I have replaced it with the categories. So now these are the categories coming from the database. It's the same HTML template we have downloaded, and now you can change those into this. These are articles, we can fetch them as well, but at least this is the categories page. Then we will do the same for example, if these are the articles. If you remember, if I open the articles page, articles.php, this is the articles page. These are all the articles to the left. If I need to display this also in the template, so I will have to do the same.
Yes, sir, exactly.
So for example, I have 100 different pages. Should I do it for all those pages like this, or should there be a better way?
Better.
There has to be a better way. So if there has to be a better way, let us do that. Okay. Let us come to index.php. Okay. If you remember, we have just a bare bone index.php here. I will copy all the HTML here. From the index.html which we have downloaded into index.php like this. So if I just preview index.php now, what are you going to expect? Exact copy of the home page. This is that index.php. Okay. Now let us break it inside into header, footer, and maybe content section, something like this. So all of this will be header. The menu bar is going to be header, and this one is going to be footer. So let's do that first. If I come to the code, this is header section. It opens here and it closes here. I will just cut it. Okay, and remember we are inside the index.php. I'll go to includes and create a new file. We'll call it header.php, and I will just paste all that HTML here. Just HTML, no PHP at the moment. Okay. Now in index.html, what we will do is we will use include. Index.php. Okay. So here we'll do question PHP and include. What we are going to includes /header.php. So this will be included into this section. Okay. So if I just refresh the page, it will be exactly like before, because this is now being included from header.php. Similarly, let us do this footer. So this is the footer section. We'll cut it, and let me quickly add PHP tag, PHP closing PHP include includes footer.php and a semicolon. Okay, but we haven't yet created this file, so I will go to includes and new file footer.php. Got it? Here we will paste it. Save. So now if I just reload index.php, it will have this included by PHP for us. Got it?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Now this is maybe the home section.
Yes, sir.
But we have two columns as well. But for now, let us do this. I will create another file in includes and name it home.php. New file. Sorry, not here, but inside includes. New file. I will call it home.php. Okay, home.php, and I will basically just copy the main section here up to the other include, this one. So I will just cut it, and inside the home.php I will just paste it for now. It again is just HTML.
Yes, sir.
So here what we can do is open PHP includes slash home.php question mark this. Got it? Do you think there will be any difference in the page?
No, sir.
Because now everything is coming from include files.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The next step is so the page is index.php.
Yes, sir.
By default, for example, I need to include index.php here. Sorry, categories.php. Do you remember how was the output of categories.php? Maybe we already have copied all this HTML, so let me just Control Z. This is the old categories.php. So if I go to this site and categories.php, so this is the categories.php, but I want to basically include this in that home page.
Yes.
I want to include this into
Home.
index.php, this one. I want to include this inside the this template, but right now it is including home on the home page. Okay,
Yes, sir.
but if in case I do some logic like this, question mark page is equal to categories, for example, or page is equal to articles, or page is equal to whatever. So while accessing index.php, I am sending extra information to this page. We already have studied what get parameters are. So let me page is equal to categories like this. So what we can do is, if I come to index.php, home.php will only be included if it is not having the page parameter, like it is just index.php. For example, this, so home will be included. Otherwise, whatever is page is equal to that, so that page will be included. Got it? Now we are making it conditional. So here what we can do is, we can move this into a PHP, some PHP logic, the center one. So what we can do is, if Shabas, anybody who can help me with this dollar sign,
Get it?
if is set,
Yes, sir.
if is set dollar sign underscore get, and what that get is page. The name of the variable will be page. Okay,
Yes, sir.
if is set that variable, then do what else, do this. So what does it mean? If is set get page, if page is set,
Yes, sir.
okay, so do something else, otherwise includes home.php. okay, and what, how to grab this value now? So include what, include categories.php, but categories it is going to be a dynamic one, so this is the value of the variable. Okay,
Yes, sir.
so include this. Shabas, what can we do? Dot php, because name is equal to categories, so categories.php,
Concatenate it with that PHP.
it will be .php. This is concatenation operator, and this is the extension of the file.
Yes, sir.
So whatever is in the page, that should be included. So let us just check this logic now. So for example, index.php is accessed, it is doing the same thing because it is home, and the categories, the page parameter is not
Yes, sir.
included. But if I make question mark page is equal to categories, question mark page is equal to categories, what are you expecting?
Categories page.
Categories page. So
Yes, sir.
in the same we have categories. We have another page where we can copy some code. So I have content.html as well. It has 2 columns. This is actually the code. Let me copy it here, and this is the left sidebar, this is the right sidebar. So if we move it to index.php, if is set get page, so else this, we can change the logic here maybe, or just quickly, if is set get page, so let us create a variable include sidebars as include markup, maybe markup is equal to true. It is a boolean, for example. It means if the page has some markup, if the get page is set, so this is a variable. And here out of the loop before footer, what we can do is we will open another PHP like this, and if include markup like this, semicolon, colon, and what we can do here, close, and if, and here we will use that markup. Is this okay?
Yes.
So inside here, because now we are closing opening it this, and we can write HTML here. So the left sidebar, and this is the main content region, we can call it content region, this one. So here we can output or include page, rather than including it there. This output include is true, so we will do it here. And again we need to open PHP tags for it. This is mixing of PHP. Got it? We are just setting up variable here if the page has the get page parameter, and if making it true. So in the if condition, here we are checking if it is true, then include this markup. Simple, it's not very tough. So if now I refresh the page, if you can see, the categories was to the left because it was outside the markup. Now if I refresh it, it will be here in the right sidebar. So any page now will be included here. For example, if I make it to articles, because we have an articles.php page, if you remember.
Yes, sir, exactly.
So if I enter it, the same page is getting included here. If I click on it, and it goes to that page, but you can fix that, but at least this is being included here.
Yes, sir.
There is an error, if you remember, because we are not setting it at the moment, but this is the article page. What else we had? Forms. If you remember, we had a forms page.
Yes.
And this form, if we are now including forms.php, so all this HTML will be added again to the page, which we don't want. We already have set it up. So let us remove all the HTML stuff. Just we will have PHP. We remove the body as well, and this is the closing body, so that we don't repeat those.
Yes, sir, exactly.
So now if I include forms.php, where will it be included? In the index.php.
Index.php.
So if I change the page to forms, so now that form is inside, and we have a kind of a template.
Yes, sir.
All the pages in the side will be the same. Got it? If I need to change the links, for example, for some reason, so now I have just one place to change it. Otherwise, if I had separate pages, I would go to separate pages and change the links,
Yes, sir.
URLs. Now where should I go to if I need to change the URL on each page?
Header.
Header.php.
Header.php.
Good. This is the
Yes, sir.
header.php. Here I will change the links so it will be reflected in all the pages because it is just index page and the all the pages are included there. Is this clear?
Yes.
Okay, now let us create a form which will submit an article. We already have created some in our database. If we go, so this is the articles page. It has 3 records, but we did it from PHP MyAdmin.
Yes, sir.
Now we need to create a form for this page so that we can be able to
Insert the article.
insert the article. So what we can do is I will create another the better thing is to create a folder. So maybe if but for now just for the ease I will add just it to the root. Okay, here. So let me create a file called add article.php. okay, and here we will create an HTML form first. We will first create an HTML form. So if we go to the database structure of this, it has a title, description, status, publish or unpublish, submitted, date, and the UID. Okay, AID, and this is auto increment. So what we need to have in the form: the title, description, status, submitted,
And UID.
and UID. UID we will do differently, but for now we will hard code it. Okay, so we will create a form in PHP .php. If we don't open PHP tags, so it means it's HTML. So for example, form and method is equal to, okay, this is going to insert data, so the method should be post. Now it should have a label for title, and inside the label, inside the label we will have title, and then what is it doing this? Input type is equal to text, name is equal to title, and that's it. Let me quickly copy this and make it description, and it is Textarea. Okay, Textarea, and name is equal to description. Okay, to give some size to the text area, we can have rows is equal to 15 and columns is equal to 10. Let us quickly check if it is working fine. So how can I, what's the easiest way? I can directly access forms.php. Forms.php. So this is how. Sorry, this is not form, it is add article. What's the name of that? Add article.php. So add article.php. So this is title and this is description. But why is it not in the theme we have created, the template? What should I do to make it appear inside the
Include.
no, that system has been done once. what I need to just change the URL. How can I do it? Index.php question mark page is equal to add article. Add article, not even .php. Add article, because .php we are adding in the code.
Yes, sir.
So now it is inside the page. This is title, this is the left sidebar, and this is the title field, this is one, and this is description. Maybe because of styling it is behaving like this, but or let us remove the gray. The advantage of this is we have just one place to change the markup. So if I remove BG color, this one,
Remove the down numbers, the right side.
this, now it's not visible, so let us give it very or we can even give some border here, so to the inputs, so maybe that is more. Border is the class is border dash 2, and do the same class to the text area.
Quotations.
But you get the point. This is title, this is description. Okay, now what else we should, how to move it to the second line, because by default these are labels are inline, so how can we move them to the
Here, sir.
we can place them inside the divs also, just simple for now, and you can give some relevant class as well. Div because this is title, this is description. Okay, the next field we should create is, if you go to the table, title, description, then status and date submitted and UID. Okay, so the status is 1 or it will be 0. So what we can add here, let me quickly create a div again, this. So let us create, we can create checkboxes also, but I will create select list, and we can hard code the values here. So select name is equal to status, then we need to have options, published, and the value will be 1. This is HTML. Okay, no PHP at the moment. The second one will be 0, and it will be unpublished, right? And we should have one more. What is that going to be? This empty one. And we will make please select status or something like this. So if I refresh the page now, it is please select status, publish or unpublish. Okay, and there is no label in it, so status, we will call it status. Status is this. Let me just add so that you can be easily seeing it. Okay, what is going to be the next one? date created. Okay, so it has there is a function in PHP called time function, time. So if I just output some PHP here, for example, at the top of the page, just to debug time question mark this, so print time. What is it printing? We studied it. Unix time. So time function prints you the Unix timestamp of the current time. So we can directly add it to the database because one of the columns is this submitted column. So if we on the server, if we just run time function and add it to the database, it will be saving it. So we don't need to actually create a field for it here. Got it? Okay. The next thing is we have one column left, that is UID. So we will change it, but right now we will hard code it as well, either one or two. Okay. So for these two, we don't need to have form fields for now. We have created it for title, description, and status. Why are we not going to create a form field for AID also? Anybody?
Not to the auto increment.
Because it is auto increment. Okay. Okay, so now if I just refresh the page, I will type something here and then here and select the status, and it will what one more thing we are missing is button.
Submit button.
So again here, if I create another div and input type is equal to
Submit.
and value is equal to submit. Is this okay? Submit, maybe submit article. If I refresh the page, submit article is the button, okay, and it submits the page. Okay. So we have form.php, right? Let me remove this print statement. At the top of this, if I just question mark PHP and this, so here we are going to manipulate these values, okay, and we are also going to include connection on the page, database connection. Do you remember that connection?
Required.
So it is this file which we need to require.
Yes.
So one of the ways is, if you know you will need connection everywhere, so we can include it in the index.php as well. It will be working.
Yes.
So let us do it here, because we may need connections all the time. So here at the top of the page, what we can do is question mark this. This is index.php, okay. Include or require includes / database.php. Now index.php, if it needs some data from database or any interaction, it has a connection, right? So that's the benefit of breaking down your code into sub files. Now the thing is, in forms.php, this is the add article.php, when the button is submitted, I need to have an action. So action should be which page? Index.php question mark page is equal to form, add article. So it will be actually going to index.php, and it will be including this also, add article. So if I, for example, print all the values which I have submitted, so I will yesterday we studied about $ server global variable as well. So if condition $_ server, and it is sorry, it is server underscore request, okay, is equal to post. What does this mean? If the form has been submitted, okay, if the form has been submitted, so print underscore r what, dollar sign underscore post, because this is the method is post, okay. So all the values of the form will be inside dollar sign underscore post. So let me just submit this for now, this one, what is this, online to server underscore request, dollar sign server request, request underscore method, it is actually, sorry, request underscore method. First time it will be giving you an index because we are not checking for the setting of it, but if I submit the form, so it's actually showing me the, and if I add any values in it like this, now you can expect, so title is this, description is this, and status is 1. If I make the status 0 unpublished and submit the article again, so now the status is 0. So what do you judge from it? All the values of the form when they are submitted are inside dollar sign underscore post, and the name attribute is what? We have name attributes for every input, so this is the name, so it will be in the associative array for dollar sign post title, dollar sign description, and status, right? Okay, so let us grab those values now and set them as one good practice is, for example, if I just create some variables, title is equal to empty for now, basically it is empty, okay, description is equal to empty, and status is equal to empty for now, okay, like this. Now we if this means that the form has been submitted, now I will assign title if dollar sign title is dollar sign underscore post this question mark title, because this is coming from the form now. If post this, and we will call it is set. Is set means if it has been set, and or for now this is okay, okay, if is set dollar sign post title, what is being, okay, if is set post title, it means if the value of the form field for title has been set, so what I will do, just assign that value to the title, dollar sign title is equal to what, post title, like this. Similarly, if description is set, so assign it to the description variable, description, and if status is set, assign that to status. There are two more which we need to insert into the database also. Which one are they? The time
UID
and UID. So we will hard code them. Here let me quickly time or submitted is equal to, so what's that function? Just time function, okay. So whatever is the value of the Unix timestamp, we will assign it to this. And another one is UID is equal to For now let us keep it 2. Once you are logged in, once we have studied how to log into the system, then we will set this dynamically. Whatever is the user ID who logs in, it will be that. But for now we will keep it because okay. So now these values have been, the variables have been changed. If the request method is this and they are not, if they have been set and they are not empty, we are not checking the empty at the moment. Okay.
Yes.
So the next step is good practice is to create a insert is equal to false. For now I have created a variable which is insert is equal to false. Okay. So if insert is equal to true, then we will add values to the database, otherwise not. So we are already including the database here. Now we just need to create a query. Okay. And the query is
Add article.
where is it? Okay. So here $sign PDO, we already have PDO because connection is linked. PDO, today we learned about prepare, if you remember. So prepare, here you will pass the query. So query is going to be insert into articles, just like you do it in PHP admin or on the prompt. Insert into articles. We are not going to use the auto increment one, but the rest of the column names. So what they are, let me go back to this. They are title, description, status, submitted, and UID. Okay, title, description. So let's give those. Title, then two articles, title, description, status, what else?
Time and UID.
Status, time and UID.
Time and UID. Submitted, it is probably submitted. Yes, status, submitted, and UID. So it's status, submitted, and UID. Insert into this. Okay, and semicolon. Okay, then what should be here? You know the insert queries, values, and here we will have another bracket like this, and then the values. Okay, the column names. Okay, but you know that those column names are what we just read now. Colon, we will create those placeholders for it because this is what PDO does for us. So values, I will call it title, description, and what else?
Status.
Status, submitted, and UID. Status, colon, submitted, and UID. UID like this. Okay. Okay. So PDO prepare, insert into this, and it returns a query. For example, this, and then we have $sign query execute. What is it expecting? An array of all those values. So one of the ways is to create a params array already there. Params, will create an array equals to params like this, simple array. So it is going to be an associative array, right? We are letting it know what column title is. So what it is going to be, let me know.
Title.
Dollar
Dollar title.
Dollar title.
Dollar title. then colon description dollar description colon status. So it is going to be dollar status colon submitted. It is this. Maybe we don't need to make it a placeholder, but still submitted. So submitted. We have defined all these variables above and UID. So this is an associative array of all the placeholders actually. $sign UID. We have hard coded the UID. Okay. So the execute function, the execute method expects an array. So we could have directly passed that array here, but since we have now created this, so it will be $sign params. Is this fine? So it will actually execute the code. One thing we need to do is probably, because if you remember in Z queries we have to surround strings with single quotes in MySQL. In SQL queries you surround those with quotes. So maybe we need to do something like this. But for variable interpretation, what we can do is, if we pass it in double quotes, one of the ways is double quotes and then single quotes. Will it be interpolated? Probably it is. Or better off, let us do string concatenation. So this is one part, single quote dot, and this is like this. This is okay because SQL expects the string values to be wrapped in these single quotes. So let us quickly do these also. Or what if I just copy the lines quickly, change the variable name again, status. Submitted is a number probably, so we don't need to have it, and similarly UID is a number. Okay, let us try if things are getting fine. So I will refresh the page now. This article is coming from PHP, and let us quickly copy something, this, paste it here. The status is going to be published and submit button. Value 1 for column status at row 1. Okay, this is being interpreted as string, this one, status. So because it is also 1 and 0, so let us remove this because it is also an integer. Okay, if you remember tiny int it was. So if I refresh the page, this is coming from PHP, and this code, the status is 1, and submit article. Probably the article has been submitted. How to check if it has been submitted?
Check the database.
So we will go to this and browse. So this is coming from this is the second record, and even this is dynamic. It is coming from the time function. The UID is this. So we are able to insert data into the database. We are yet to do validation because probably we should this is, if I just submit it, so it has tried to submit it and the status hasn't been selected and it is not being allowed to be empty probably. So we will do some validation in the next class, but for today I think in part 2 we will do the rest of validation in the form and improve the application further. Then we will be studying sessions, logins, and a lot of other fun stuff. So see you tomorrow.